Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this webinar about the MSc in Sports Entertainment and Lifestyle at EMLYON Business School. We're happy to have you with us. We can wait maybe a few seconds, 1 minute, to see if all the other participants can join. Perfect. Do you see our screen? Everything is working on your side? Perfect. So as I said, welcome everyone and thank you for joining us today. So I will start by introducing today's speakers. So my name is Yasmin Sba. I'm a graduate programs advisor. I'm very delighted to be here with you today to introduce this exciting program and answer, of course, any questions you might have. And if you decide to apply and you're admitted, I'll be here to guide you through the whole process from the admission and enrollment until you join the school in September, October, we hope. So today we will walk you through the key aspects of the program, its structure, career opportunities, and application process. If you need some tips to enhance your application, I would definitely advise you to stay until the end. We also have the pleasure of welcoming with us today our program director, Mr. Antoine Ancourt. And
Hi,
we are
everyone.
And we have with us Thomas and Marie, enrolled in the MSc Sports Entertainment and Lifestyle for this year, who will share their insights and experience with you. So I give the word to Antoine. I'll let you present the program.
Well, thank you very much, Yasmin, for this introduction. Thanks, everyone, for joining, and thank you as well for, to our two ambassadors, Marie and Thomas, for joining. They'll be with us in a few minutes. They were in class this morning, and they have class as well this afternoon. So really, glad to be with you today. And to talk about, sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. So my name is Antoine Acourt, and I'm the program director of this new program. Well, new, we've had this program, since 2012, but since this year, since last year, we've pivoted and turned this sports industry management program into a new version, which is, sports entertainment and lifestyle. And so this is what we're going to discuss today during this session. I'd like to start, with a picture. I don't know if you all can see my screen, but I will come with one question to you all. Okay, when you watch football and when you watch a football match today, my question is: are you really watching football? Well, this is a question just to have a little warm up all together. And I'm just asking you to reflect, and to for a few seconds, when you watch football, how you're really just watching football. And the reason I'm asking the question is today, most of us, we don't experience sport only through a live match. We just most of the time, we experience it, through, highlights, social medias, documentaries. Think of, Drive to Survive, when you watch, the documentary on Netflix, you're looking at behind the scenes, and the same time you may be watching, the live event, or, an asynchronous event. So already the question, that comes to us is not, what sport is, but how sport is produced and is experienced today. So that's really the key question that comes to us. So from something we used to watch, and this is raising the question, okay, but what about sports really? Is it something that is narrated, packaged, and that's really the key questions that needs to come to us. In fact, when we ask these questions, in fact, what we can say is that sport is not just only, played on the field. What we can see is that, or what we can say, we can see that it's sport is constructed across ecosystem. Not that sport has lost its essence. We continue, and some of you may continue to attend, live events or take part in sports practice and sports events. Yes, sports continue to raise emotions, and we're still, engaged through the performance. But what we can see is that now, sport is being packaged, it's being narrated, and monetized. And what we can say is that, yeah, platforms, think of TikTok, I was saying, Netflix and the likes. Yes, they shape what we consume and how we consume it. So what we can say is that at that stage, in this past, sports industry was quite easy to map, where the roles of each and every stakeholder was very clear, and value creation was quite linear. But now, what we can say is that sports now intersects with, media, with fashions, with tech, with finance, and so all of a sudden, the reality is that borders are becoming blurry, and what was, in the past easy to map is becoming more and more complex. I've just, prepared a small slide to sum it all up. It's when you think of sports, very easily, or spontaneously, you may think of the classical governing bodies, the big ones, IOC for the Olympic Games, the FIFA or UEFA when they think of football, but governing bodies throughout, the different countries or regions of the world. When you think of sports properties, you may think of football clubs or, sports events such as Roland Garros, Wimbledon, the Australian Open at the moment, and the like. Um, and of course, all of this now intersect, governing bodies, institutions, together with sports properties. They intersect with, the field of entertainment, concerts, organizers. They intersect with actors of finance. Think of, the funds, the rich, also owners. The funds may be privately held, but it could be also sovereign funds. Think of, all these sovereign funds from the Middle East, who invested in sports properties here in Europe. And it used also to be the case with funds from China, or, privately held funds from China. So all of this, intersects. And of course, not to forget the tech platforms. Think of Netflix, think of TikTok, Amazon Prime. And what we can say is that new actors have, entered these ecosystems. And all of a sudden, the consequence of this is that none of these new actors, none of these new entrants play by the same rules. So what we used to see when it comes, to sports was very easy to map, and consumptions was quite linear, and the actors were well defined. And the rules of the game were well defined. It's what we can say is that today none of this remains true, and that's brings complexity in the understanding of the ecosystem. If I can just go a little further in details. So I'm sorry, I'm just went for backwards. Well, when we look at the institutions, FIFA, ALC, and the like, all of these institutions, they look for stability, they look for legitimacy, they're looking for continuity as well. So they try to, retain this movement. Sometimes they try to play with the new entrants. They improve and they progress quite slowly. When you look at the finance, the investors, in the game, uh, most of them, I don't say, I just, say on purpose, most of them, they're looking for scalability and returns on investment. I say this, but if you look at sovereign funds, it could be also that they look for influence, and think of, QSI, from Qatar Investment Fund, investing in sports properties such as PSG here in France. They're looking, of course, for scalability and returns, but they're also looking for something else, which is, global influence. And look at, what they're looking at the moment, trying to uh, move forward and expand, geographically and in priority into the US. They used to look into Asia and China. Now they're looking into the US. And so the sports property happens to be seen as a vehicle of influence. So sports property, so in sports itself, is this vehicle of influence from the perspective of the sovereign fund. And then you have, of course, the platforms, Netflix, TikTok, and they don't just shape the content. But what we have to keep in mind is that these platforms, they look for your attention. And they're looking for your attention, but they're looking into knowing more and better about you, so that they can monetize as well, the data and the shape, the formats of what we consume. So all of this intersect, and what we need to have in mind is that, and it has to be very clear in the end, these tensions, because these new actors on the scene create tension. But these tensions don't come, from conflict. The tensions come from coexistence. So what it means is that all of these new actors, new entrants in the field, intersect. Borders are becoming blurry, and they have to coexist on the market. So it's redefining the market, and it's redefining, the role of business. And this is, of course, where we come as an institution, also in the game, because we look at what it means when it translates into jobs and competencies, to join these different organizations. Uh, while this is where, our program and our institution starts from, we look at, how this new roles of the game impact jobs and careers. And of course, sports, used to be seen as an expertise, but of course now you understand that it may not be sufficient, or not enough. Yes, what used to be the cake, it's eventually, become the cherry in the cake. So what organizations are looking at and looking for are people, with a different mindset and different education. So with a knowledge and competencies in strategic thinking, understanding the ecosystem dynamic. Of course, be ready to embrace the cultural diversity. And of course, people being ready to operate in uncertainty across silos. And I really want to add here, across silos. That's really important to have in mind. And it's going to be very clear for those who are paying interest into joining, into working in this field in the future. that we don't teach, sports as a list of actors. Nobody needs it, and you're probably better experts than we are here at EMLYON. But we want to teach sport as an ecosystem. I think it's very key to have in mind. Ecosystems is, different sub verticals that are interdependent, and you have to keep in mind that as soon as a new actors comes in the system, the old systems reacts. That's very key. Take for example, a league itself, is dependent on the platform. Look at what LFP here in France is doing together with TikTok. Of course, a club is influenced by its owner and by the investors, and a federation is also balancing control and growth. So strategy today it's really about navigating ecosystems and not underlined twice dominating markets. I think it's really important to have this in mind. Let's try to see if I have. So it's really what's important to keep in mind here is not knowing everything is not the most important thing, but how to read, how to embrace complexity is the key, probably one of the key key skills to grow and nurture. I think it's really important to have in mind. So this is where we start from. What's marketing? Was in the past, and for a great majority of people, is still understood as communication. But now, in reality, marketing is really shaping the product itself. Co-creation of a new product together. Sports property and platforms, and content. It's important to understand how content is created. Which stories are told. Think of Drive to Survive, for example, on Netflix. Who participates? Yeah, fans, creators, athletes, and platforms. They push the short formats. Short formats change how sports is narrated, and narratives change how sports is perceived. So all of this, is redefined. So the rules of marketings are being redefined. Same with strategy. It's really important to understand, who is playing and with what roles, investors, federation, and so on. And so where are we going and where it's going to take the product. And finally, I added here, I made a difference between strategy and business model. So business model, it's sometimes a complex, to understand because it embraces multiple, forces. But it's how a business is operated. What brings profit in, who are the customers, where your resources are, and of course, how you manage this system. And in the end, what you need to learn and what you need to embrace is how to live with all these tensions. So tension is probably one of the key word to keep in mind here in that sequence. So I hope this gives you a first overview of the big picture, at least the picture as we see it, and so it brings me to this first conclusion is our program, the MSc in Sales, we've designed it, in order to reflect on how the market is actually working, and not how it used to work. Very key. We're not the commentators of the sports. We're not the commentators of who is doing what, but we are really embracing, this ecosystem as a system, and we're looking at the dynamic of this ecosystem. I think it's really key to understand that's what drove us to design the program as it is. So we 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 want to say, and we want to think that that's how we've designed it, and this is how we have had it in mind. It's we're trying, and we still have, lots of efforts to make. We still need to improve in that sense, but to connect, courses all together, not just look at courses as an isolated, format. Of course, we really favor uh, classes and courses, hands-on, linked with sports properties, actors in the field, grounded, in practice, very key. And the idea overall is to try to, as much as we can, to mirror this market complexity. That's what we like to say. This is our philosophy. So we want to say that yes, it's how we're looking at designing our response to the market. Very briefly now, not to go too much into details, how we've designed it overall. The MSc in Cell is a 2-year program. So probably it's a little too small, but you'll have the opportunity to rewind. And Yasmin, will be happy to share with you, some of the content as much as you may need. Uh, so we have a 2-year format, so small first year, which could be considered as a prep year. 100, I think it's 280 hours class. So we start in November and we finish in March, 4 main modules. And at the end of this first sequence, an optional internship. We say optional, so I think it's a great opportunity to be uh, connected to the field and to reflect on the experience and to grow your experience from within. I think it's really key to look at this first year as a springboard to for a first internship. And then when you're done with this first year, then you have access to the year 2 of the program that starts in October, and next intake will start on October 5th. And we structure, the program around 4 main modules as well, which are not linear, but and in each of them, we try to, as much as we can, to also connect, students, courses, to the reality of the field. You can see probably on top of the graph of the board, 240 ECTS. What it means, and the previous year was accessible for students who can prove to have 180 ECTS. So to make it short, if you have a French baccalaureate, and bachelor 3 years, you can access, year 1 directly. And if you have a master 1 degree or a bachelor that delivers 240 ACTS, then you can access the year 2 directly. That's just to give you an overview. What do we do during year 2? Hands-on projects. Look at the ecosystem, and the dynamic of the ecosystem, geopolitical side of it, the business model side of it, the innovation side of it, and we try to, connect, the courses to the field at each and every stage. Um, we of course, we want to be in the field, so we do also organize a learning trip in the fall to create the cement of the cohort and to immerse, students in a different reality besides the French version of the sports ecosystem. And then to conclude that year 2 program, we spend the last 2 months, May and June, in Quebec, in Canada, at our partners, Université Laval in Quebec City and HEC Montreal in Montreal. and we conclude the program then in June. But of course, it's not finished because you can see here, there's an internship to be accomplished, 4 to 6 month mandatory. And there's also master thesis that you need to write. So just to that just gives you a little overview of the structure of the program. I wanted to share with you before I give the floor to our ambassadors who are with us today, Thomas and Marie. Very briefly, a uh, a few success stories. So I don't know if it's big enough on your screens. If you look at if you attend this presentation on your phone, then it may be a little too small. But uh, where do students who've joined us, for 2 or 1 years, where are you going to, see them in the future? Well, you'll see some of them, joining big corporates, Nike, Adidas, Puma, Salomon, sporting goods, equipment. But, take the example of Emily, is now head of sports Europe at TikTok. So remember, ecosystem. So sports needs to be embraced at large in with a holistic perspective. So we have, platforms, but also the field of the medias. You see, this example with Apolline, she's working at Discovery, NBC Discovery. We have some working in, of course, sports properties, football clubs. Here in France, you'll have, alumni working at PSG or at LOL. In the UK, Annie Rood was actually working at Chelsea, but not anymore. He's joined Tottenham Hotspurs. So still in London, working in these types of organizations. Sports sporting goods, I mentioned, Adidas, Nike, and the like, but also On. It could be also that students, want to join uh, production company. So if you're familiar, for those who are from France, with Tour de France. So Tour de France is owned by a company owned by a company named ASO, Amaury Sports Organization. They own and operate Tour de France, but they also operate and own the Dakar. And we have quite a few alumni who join this type of organizations. So in France, you'd have companies such as ASO, but you could compare this to the NBA. You name this as a league, but the reality is what we name a league, or what the American, name the league. For us, it's a production company. It doesn't have anything to do with, the French Football League, because the French Football League, professional football league, it's owned by the institution. It's not a privately held company. Well, the NBA, it's a privately held company, just like ASO. And so just to make a short break on this. So you can see that different profiles, different backgrounds, whether you're being educated in law and business and engineering and political science and communication, you may find your way, through this new, more complex ecosystem. And at the end, of course, it's going to also probably define the type of organizations that you'll be willing to join in the near future. So that's about it for myself, for a first, introduction of what we do and how we do it. I hope I was not too long. And of course, I will remain with you, until the end. But Yasmin, the floor is yours, and I think you may want to invite our ambassadors uh, to join.
Thank you so much, Antoine, for the presentation. I wanted to tell everyone if you have questions, you might ask them in the Q&R box. We can answer them at the end or during the presentation. And if you're brave enough to speak, we can also activate your microphone so you can express yourself, ask your questions. It's always better to interact directly, so don't hesitate. Thank you so much, Antoine. So we will, now that we've heard the program presentation from you, Antoine, thank you so much. I'm pleased to present to you Thomas and Marie, our student ambassadors who are currently enrolled in the program, and they will give us some insights about the program by answering a few questions. So to start, welcome. And I wanted to ask you if you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background so that our prospective students get to know you a little bit better. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Marie. I'm 24. I'm French from Paris. So I do hold my scholarship in Paris, and then I move on to Switzerland to study hospitality management for 4 years. And then when I finished my bachelor, I was like, what should I do? What I want to do? And then I realized that I have one passion in life that was sports. So I decided to join the EMLYON Master in Sports.
Thank you,
And
Marie.
so I'm Thomas. Nice to meet you, everyone. I'm from Paris also, but I'm half Canadian. So I studied my undergrad in Canada in Toronto, and I was in more of a sports but media background, and didn't really find a job coming out of COVID when I graduated. So then I decided to work a little bit in hospitality and lived all over the place. When I moved back to France, I thought, okay, I think it's time to go into a more specialized master's and more of a business school. And that way I can get a little bit more of a business background and get different, what Antoine talked about, a little bit of finance, a little bit of entrepreneurship, management, and stuff like that, and not just media necessarily or storytelling. And I wanted just something more on sports specifically, because that is still my passion, but a little bit more of a general background as well on how the business in general works. Started back in October, and here we are.
Here we are. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for the presentation. So for the second question, with hindsight, how do you view your choice of program today compared to where you were a year ago? I think our prospective students who are listening to us may be doubting, thinking about which program they should do, and you were in their spot a few months ago. So please share your experience with them.
Yeah, I mean, a year ago, I remember I was telling Marie that I applied quite early. I think I remember getting in touch with you, Yasmin, pretty early, sort of around this time last year. And then I really only applied, I think, in maybe end of February, early March. But I wanted to get it done kind of early, and that way I had the assurance that I would get in or not. But I think looking back on it, it was certainly, I mean, the right choice is for me, it's quite obvious because especially in terms of the people that we've met in the class, but outside of the class too. Like the for example, our trip to London for me was really one of the highlights, and I didn't really know what to expect before the school year started because it just says seminar in London. But we got to meet such cool people and visit all these different facilities, whether it was stadiums or businesses in London who do literally exactly the kinds of jobs or work that we want to do for most of us in the class. So there are certain parts like that of the program that are really interesting. And we went to Canet Plus the other day, and we have these sort of different events where we meet people that are really awesome. And on Monday, we had another company come in, and then they invited us to play five-a-side football after. So Monday night, sort of a good half of the class played some footy with them, which was really fun. So it's sort of like this, very interactive way of networking, which is interesting. And most of the classes is group work, so it's really engaging. It's not like, you're sitting at a desk all day, every day. It's really sort of different groups every time too. So you learn to work with the whole class, which is interesting. And on real life scenarios also, like not just, do this, do that. We're kind of also quite free in the way that we think about it. Which I think is really fun, and we kind of always have a say in how we want to present and stuff like that. It's kind of up to us also most of the time, which I like that flexibility. So yeah, no, so far it's exactly what I wanted for sure.
And
Thank you, Thomas.
for me, it was a little
Yes,
bit the opposite. Like when I finished, I know that I was passionate about sport, but I don't really know like when you start like searching for something, like what is really the program? Did I make the good choice or not. So actually, like I think like I subscribed to that program like in April, I would say. And I was a bit unclear. I didn't know really what's going to happen. And now I'm super happy to be honest with you. As I said, Thomas, we meet a lot of people. The class are interactive. We just not like listen to the teacher and just stay like this. We do a lot. We do Canal Plus past week. And no, I'm super happy about that. I cannot not add a lot to what Thomas already says, but.
Thank you so much to both of you. So the last question, can you tell us about your experience within the program? Is there any highlights or meaningful encounters, people you met, for example, companies you visited, and you would like to share with future candidates who are watching us about these experiences?
Well, maybe
You are free.
we kind of encroached into the third question already with the second one, but I think that yeah, it's for me really the London trip was definitely a highlight. Again, as I say, I didn't really know before the year started what to expect. I mean, once right before we left, we had an idea, we had an itinerary, and I thought, okay, this could be cool, and it still kind of exceeded my expectations. But before the start of the school year, I really didn't know what to expect. But then once we actually were there and we're doing all of these things, it wasn't like any other real like school trip that I'd ever done really, because it wasn't this sort of like we're constantly visiting stuff and doing this and there's no free time or anything. It was also there was some time to actually reflect on what we had done and talk about it amongst each other. And just again, the kind of companies that we met a company called Two Circles, which was a lot of us looked at each other after and said like they're doing exactly what we want to do after this program, and we didn't even know that they existed, because I think the thing is about this whole ecosystem is that there are so many companies that you don't even know exist in the first place. And even we have a class with François Sanger, who's sort of, an activist about the whole sustainability in sports, and he does these forums, and he showed us the one of the people who came to the class to speak with us showed us this diagram of like 500 sort of startups or something in France, just in that world, that you don't even know exists until you actually meet these kinds of people. So I think the highlight for me really has been, yeah, the people that we are meeting and the opportunities to hear, people speak on campus, also different seminars and stuff that are optional but very interesting. And I mean, to me, the I totally forgot actually about this, but really the biggest highlight was going to the FIA. I mean, for me, that was the coolest part about our program so far, and it was real life. Talk about real life experience. Like we were in a boardroom, like real life, like with the microphones and it was like this very stressful but super exciting moment that I think all of us really enjoyed. And the whole project from start to finish was a really interesting process with a tutor who really pushed us but never like gave us any of the answers, and let us always come up with the answers ourselves, while still kind of giving us these hints all the time. And it was like this, we had a great dynamic with him, and that was for me the best part of the year really, was that whole project, because I look at where we started and where we finished, and it was like a completely different story, and it was kind of always coming back to the problem, almost like ripping apart the paper and starting all over again, but then always coming to a nice conclusion. So that was really the best part for me.
Quite the same for me actually. Like I also the FIA project was really something like different and change and push us to push our limits. And I will say also the Canal Plus that we went last week also was super nice to have presentation, to know more about the company, to exchange, to have the opportunity to exchange, to visit, to understand like all the kind of stuff that we did like in London, in the FIA, in Canal Plus, or people coming from PSG to present, to really have this dialogue with the other. I think that's really a plus.
Thank you so much, both of you. If you have anything to add, it's free. You can say anything you want. Of course, if you have something to add, we are listening. We are very happy to have you with us today. And maybe I'll see you. I take the chance to say that we have the open days coming up on the 31st of January in Lyon and the 14th of February in Paris. So if you want to come meet us, meet the students or the program directors, you can register on the website directly. And Thomas Marie maybe will be with us on the 31st. So
I'll be there on
don't
Saturday for sure. So if you want
perfect.
to meet on Saturday, I'll be
You can
there.
You are all welcome. You just have to register. It's very important. At the same time, we have a question, Antoine, if you maybe want to answer. Good morning from Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy. Good morning. Thank you very much for the presentation. I wanted to know if there is any international exchange opportunities with academic partners beside HEC Montréal and Université Laval. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you for the question, Jeremy. Well, let me say academic exchange. So the destinations so where students are going to are the two main organizations, HEC Montreal and FSA Laval in Quebec. However, we host and we invite lots of academics and professionals from abroad to join us here in Paris. So when we move as a cohort abroad, these are the only two institutions that we stay with and we collaborate with. But don't forget that in reality, you have lots of academics from Switzerland, from the UK, from the Netherlands, from Canada as well. From the US, that's for the Year One, for example. We have a lecturer from she's American, and we also have a lecturer from for these coming days, Simon Chadwick, who is delivering a lecture in geopolitics and sports, is coming from the UK for the for a few days here. So we don't necessarily take the students, to each and every institutions, but institutions also come to us to make it more convenient. I don't know if that answers the question, but that's what I can say.
Thank you so much, Antoine. Actually, it's a partnership built with these two partners. It's a long partnership, so the conditions are better. It's better to have one stable partner and organize the exchange with them directly than to have multiple partners without having a continuous relationship with the students, with the academic team, etc. So we don't have any other exchanges beside Université Laval and HEC Montréal. Thank you so much. So now we're going to move to the application process and tips. It's less fun, but it's very important that you listen carefully. We will give you some tips at the end. So if you want to know some tips to enhance your application, stay until the end. And of course, if you have questions, you can always ask in the Q&A box. So regarding the application process, first of all, you have to start by checking your eligibility. It's very important. To apply for Year One, you need a 3-year bachelor degree minimum. For an application in Year Two directly, a 4-year bachelor degree or equivalent, for example, a Master 1, is required. Applications are open from October to June, July. With the current session going on right now, we'll be closing on the 2nd of February 2026, so next week in a few days. Don't wait for the last day to apply because if there's a document missing or an error to a mistake to courage, for example, you can miss the current session. So I would definitely advise you to apply at the beginning, at the middle of the session. This one wouldn't be the last session, of course, but if the spots in the program are full, we will close the applications before the last session. And if you have any question, contact the program advisor, so me, in charge of the program. I can always help you in your application. So these are the application key milestones that you have to follow. First of all, you have to submit your application online. I will give more details in the next slides about the documents, etc. You will also have to answer some questions. So your application will be processed by the admission team. If a document is missing, for example, they will assist you to correct your application by email. So please look at your spam folders. It's very important. If everything is complete, they will send you an access to pass the digital test. You have 3 days to complete them after the validation of your application by the admission team. The second step is to take the digital tests. Once your application is done, you have actually, we will send you the application for the digital test, and you have three parts. I will go more in details just after. First of all, you will have a role play to complete, some logic cognitive tests, and some motivation questions in a written and video format. After that, your application is done. You have to wait for the admission jury results that you will receive by email. And for each session, there is a date. All of the students receive the results at the same time for each session, of course. If you are admitted to the program, which I hope for all of you, of course, you have 10 days to sign up, to sign the registration form and pay 4,500 euros to secure your spot in the program. Of course, this amount will be deducted of the total tuition fee after. It's actually an advance to pay to secure your spot. It's important for us to know how many spots are left in a program, and that's why we ask you to book your spot. So regarding the first step, the online application, these are the requested documents we will be needing. So we will need your resume, including details of your professional experience with months. It's very important. Your previous higher education diploma, if you already graduated, or a certificate of enrollment for the current academic year. Sorry, there's a small mistake. If your current degree is in progress. We will be needing all signed and stamped higher education transcripts for each year and a valid ID. Then we have some optional documents. The letters of recommendation, they are optional, but I would say they could be a small bonus to your application. So if you have an academic or a professional letter of recommendation, please don't hesitate to include them in your application. The second optional document is the valid English language test. It's optional because we will be testing your level of English in a written and oral format during the digital test. So we can see easily if you can present yourself, if you can talk in English orally and in a written format. That's why we don't ask for an English test. Then the last optional document is a valid management test, like the GMAT, TAJMAT, GRE. It's an optional document, but it could give you access to a scholarship. It's called the Excellence Scholarship. Actually, if you provide the attestation even after your admission, we will be able to apply between 5 and 10% of a scholarship. And if you want more details about this information, you can contact me. You have my email address at the end of the presentation, and this presentation will also be recorded and sent to everyone. So you will have all my contacts. So for the second part regarding the digital test, so it's a selection process which is in line with the current digital landscape. Some recruiters actually in companies use the same methods to recruit their new talents. We will be testing your professional skills, your analytical skills, your motivation to join the program, your fluency in English, and your program compatibility. So it lasts about between 30 minutes and 1 hour and a half. I would say 1 hour minimum if you want to take your time to answer questions correctly. It will be 100% in English. You have to be alone in a professional clothing on a computer with a stable internet connection. And you are filmed from the beginning till the end. So please, it's important to have a professional poster. You will have 3 calendar days from the time your application is validated by the admission team to complete the digital tests. So please respect the deadline and always make sure to check your emails and spam folders after your application. So regarding the digital test, as I said, it is consisted of 3 parts. The first part is like a role play. We will put you in the shoes of a CEO of an imaginary company, and you will have access to a messaging application where your colleagues, your employees will be sending you messages to put you in different situations. It could be to make a strategic decision for a company. It could be a client which is unhappy of a service you provided, and you have to react to these different situations. You can see the screenshot here. You have to choose actually from, it's like a multiple choice questionnaire. You don't have to write anything. So you choose from the answers we provided, the answer that suits you the best. Second, we have another scenario, always in the role play. You are in a meeting with these 3G characters, and it's the same. You have to react to different professional situations. During this part, there is no right or wrong answer. We will be testing your personality, your soft skills, how you react in a professional environment globally. So then the second part is the logic test, cognitive test. So it's like logic-based games, actually. You will be testing on your analytical skills and speed. So you have a limited time to answer two kinds of logic-based games. The first one is dominoes. You have to find the missing domino from the answers we gave you here, find the logic. And the second game is mental marbles. You have to guess how many movements to make to go from image 1 to image 2. If someone wants to play the game, actually, you can answer for this one. It's an easy one, but if you have the answer, don't hesitate to write it. If you need some websites, for example, to practice for these digital tests, don't hesitate to write an email to me and I can give you all the little tips so you can familiarize yourself a little bit with the exercise. So the last part will be the motivation questions. We will ask you about your project, your knowledge of the sector. It's important that you convince the admission panel of your choice of program, careers, and sector by answering video and written questions. So you will have 3 to 6 video questions. It depends, it changes from an applicant to another, and you have 1.5 minutes on average per question to answer. The question is displayed on the screen and you are recorded automatically. And then you will have 2 to 6 written questions. On average, it's 5 minutes per question. The questions will be around your professional project, your academic background, your professional background, the experiences you had. It could be about your motivation. Why did you choose this program? Your professional project is very, very important. So please focus on this part. And you have to know that it's one of the times that the admission panel will be seeing you expressing yourself, talking. So it's very important that you will be confident during this test. So regarding the tips to enhance your application. So to strengthen your application for the MSc in Sports, Entertainment and Lifestyle, first of all, highlight your previous professional experience in marketing, sports, entertainment, media, lifestyle, retail. Very important on your resume. If the question during the digital test allows you to express that, don't hesitate also to highlight these experiences. If you practice a sport, you are a coach or part of a club, don't hesitate to highlight this experience in your resume or during the digital test also. You can also showcase your school projects if you have worked on industry-related projects. Present a clear and well thought out professional project aligned with the program's objectives. This part is very, very important. You have to convince actually the jury that this program is perfect for your career path, the career path that you chose. So focus on this part. If you have a country you're interested in, a company you want to work in, a job you want to do, don't hesitate to show the jury that. Express your motivation to join EMLYON Business School clearly and convincingly. Familiarize yourself with the program structure and models to demonstrate your understanding and commitment. All the informations are available on the website, so don't hesitate to read the website, the objectives of the program, the career paths that our students followed before, so you can demonstrate that you read the website and that you're doing your application based on a well thought out project. And at the end, of course, highlight your enthusiasm and strong interest in this field on your resume. For example, you can write a motivation letter also. It's an optional document. And then we wish you a very, very good luck with your application. And we hope to count you amongst our students next year. So you have my contacts here. If you want to take a picture or a screenshot, don't hesitate. I'd be more than happy to help you and support you during the entire application process. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as I said, don't hesitate if you have any questions. We can send you also the contacts of our student ambassadors, their professional email address, and you can ask them your questions. And they are also available on Unibuddy. It's a platform where you can talk to a student ambassador for prospective students. It's very interesting. And we are listening if you have any question. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We can wait a few seconds to see if we have some questions.
Thank you very much, Yasmin, for putting it all together for us, and thanks to everyone, for joining us today. Looking forward to hear from you and your perspective and questions if you have any. We're here to help as much as we can.
So I'm looking, I think we have a question actually. Noah. So I would like to focus my bachelor's degree to give myself the best chance of success, but I don't know which direction to take. Do you have any suggestions? I would say this one is for Antoine, maybe. So he wants to know which path he needs to follow for his bachelor degree to maximize his chance of admission. On my side, I would say there is no specific path that you have to follow. We have students from different backgrounds. Of course, it's interesting to say in a business environment, media, entertainment, lifestyle. I would say it's part of the answer, but maybe I will give the word to Antoine also, if you have some suggestions, maybe.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Noah, for this for raising these questions. This is very complex and challenging question because, as you can understand, there's no one path, to reach the this new ecosystem, and of course, it gives me also the opportunity to reframe and to rephrase a little bit. There's no sports vertical per se. Let me very clear. Yes, we name organizations sports properties or sports clubs, but the reality is, first of all, they're businesses, and the sports expertise is not as it used to be of great value. So what it means is that if you're joining a business, it's really about, what do you want to bring to help this business improve, to help this organization improve. So you first have to start with what and how do I see the challenges that this organization is facing? Are you willing to, do you have in mind to join a club? Do you have in mind to join a entertainment organization, say Paris Entertainment, for example? They operate Paris Bercy, different, venues like this, or, Live Nations. For those who know, they organize most of the great concerts globally, but they also own and operate Ticketmaster, one of the greatest business, one of the most important business when it comes to sports events. So Ticketmaster, they operate tickets to attend the Olympics, to attend, football matches, when it comes to World Cup, to the Cannes. It was very recently the African Nation Cup, but the FIFA World Cup. But also the concerts, tickets. So it really depends about this. Where do I see myself to do what? To fix or to solve what type of problems? And then, and only then, this will give you some, not feedback, but some perspective on what type of competencies shall I grow? Shall I improve my skills in data science, analytics? Shall I improve my skills in project management, into political science, into consumer behavior? If you're looking into managing the customer analytics and trying to understand, motivations at play. So based on this, based on what's, the type of field you feel comfortable with, uh, for what type of, field you have, yes, this appetite and it's the type of organization, then you can say, okay, well, I should probably emphasize or grow my skills and competencies in that field. I think there's no one great or one good answer that fits all. It does not exist. I think there's another one. So I don't know if I hope Noah this answers, one that gives you some food for thought. We have another question, a follow-up for Noah. Okay. So you're in your second year of BTS. Very good. So I think maybe it will be interesting for you to, yes, take a third year, specialization. To be honest, at the moment, grow your skills in finance, grow your skills in data and analytics, and grow and read about, geopolitics. It's key to understand, what's at stake and the forces and the different dynamics at play. This will help you, grow the big pictures. I think it's really important to have this, very clear in your mind. I think
Thank you so much.
we have a question from Thibault. Maybe we'll take this last one. What is the balance between lectures and group projects? And what is the expected weekly workload for independent study? Okay, so an average is about 18 hours. And so we'll just, reshuffle a little bit, the balance between first semester and second semester for next year, because we realized that we've had too many courses and too many projects during the first semester. So we'll unlock a little bit this for next year. But it's quite intense, to be honest. If you have in mind that you want to work to maybe finance part of your studies, this is great. But try to look for, evening missions. If you work in a fitness center, if you work for, normally I'm not supposed to name them, but we have some students working for Red Bull, for their operations. So not every day, 2 times a week, and preferably, around 5. So we should be ready with the agenda, by late June, by the hour and by the day. But so that's just a framework. And then the other thing is, well, we have quite a good balance between lectures and workshop and group work. Or when I say group work, it can be group work or individual work. More and more we give, content prior to, joining the classes. But that's, individual work and lectures. Top-down lectures, we keep a few, but very few. Most of the classes are very interactive, and you co-create. It's really key. Welcome to 2026. It's the end. If you want to attend lectures and sit back, we're not the right choice.
So I just saw a question that I missed when I was presenting. C was asking about paying the rest of the tuition fee. So I'm going to explain it really, really briefly. As I said, if you're admitted, you have 10 days to sign the enrollment certificate and pay the 4,500 euros to secure your spot. This amount will be deducted from the total tuition fee. So it doesn't matter in which session you will be admitted and enrolled, but approximately around the month of June, July, we will contact you to complete the EML, online administrative registration. At this time, you have to fill out the personal information for your student card, etc. And at this time, we will ask you, how do you want to pay? Do you want to pay the entire amount or pay in 3 parts? And you have the choice, actually. You can pay all in once or 3 times, but this will be done during June, July, and the payments are between September and December in general, depending on what you choose. I hope it was clear. And as I said, you can always contact me. For Noah also, if you need some guidance about the bachelor degree, I can give you some examples of our previous students. Don't hesitate to write me an email. So I think we arrive at the end of our webinar. How many spots are available? Okay, for this question, it's a little bit tricky. I cannot give you the exact answer, but I would say we still have some spots. Don't wait too much because it could close a little bit earlier than what we expected, but we still have some spots you can apply. We are at session 4 right now, so we already have enrolled and admitted students, but the spots are available. If you don't see the apply button, it means it's complete, it's full.
Yeah. If I may just elaborate on this a little bit. Just to give you a little bit of context, today we have 36 students in M1, and we have 24, with this new structure, 24 students in M2. But we will cap the cohort at 60 students in M2 because we'll make two sessions, two groups, and no more. Meaning that because we already have like 36 students from M1 who are going to join M2, this means that we will open a max of 24 seats on M2. And we already have a few, so there's going to be a limitation on M2. We're a little more flexible on M1 because we're going to take up to 35, 38 students. We don't want to go beyond 40. And we already have quite a few, not enrolled, but in the pipe. So just to give you a little context, yes, we have a few seats, but seats for M2 are going to be a little more scarce in the coming days. But that's okay.
We still have some spots, so no worries. Just try to apply. Last year, I had some students who waited and were disappointed. So I prefer to be honest with you. We don't know how many students are going to enroll after admission, so we cannot predict the future. We don't know when the sessions will be closed. So apply as early as you can, so you will not be disappointed after. That's the only advice I can give you. I have another question. So Matt's having already done the digital test. When can we expect the results? If you are part of session 4, the results are expected between the 30 January, so in 2 days, or the 2nd Monday. So expect news for us very, very quickly at the end of this week or beginning of next week. I hope it was clear for everyone. I hope you enjoyed this webinar with us. We were happy having you with us. Thomas and Marie left us because they have a course of geopolitics in sports, if I'm not mistaken. So they needed to go, but we thank them very much, and we are happy to have them with us. Thank you so much, Antoine, also for your presentation. And I'm available if you have any questions. Good luck, everyone, and see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye,
Thanks a lot, and
Antoine.
bye.